What if the planets in your chart are the characters in a game and zodiac signs determine their playstyle? I have an intuition that today we're talking about water signs. Welcome to AstroMagic IRL. My name is Naomi. I'm your cosmic companion and everyday alchemist. Today we're talking about water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and how they shape the way a character or a planet expresses itself in the game. But first, a quick recap about how the game works. In astrology, the houses show where the action happens, the planets show who are the actors making the action happen, and the zodiac signs describe how that action is expressed. Signs don't act on their own, but they shape how the planet operates. They shape the conditions and the environment. Think of the sun as a character in a game. In the episode on the luminaries, we talked about how the sun represents your outward identity, how other people see you, and how you express yourself. On a birth chart, your sun is placed in a specific zodiac sign, and this is going to change how this sun is geared up, what tools it's using, what its combat style is, and how it actually operates within the environment. Same sun, different loadout. And this logic applies to every planet in your chart. But to keep things simple, I'll be using the sun as our example planet throughout this video. But remember, the same system applies to everything else in your chart, from your moon to your Mars to your Venus and Neptune, etc. So let's talk about how the sun character may look in the water signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Water is the element of emotion, intuition, memory, and sensitivity, and any planet operating within these signs is going to move based more on intuition than on logic. In game terms, water signs create mystic-oriented conditions. They tune the character into inner world subtle signals and emotional undercurrents. So the water signs each have 3 different movement styles. When the sun character is placed in any of the water signs, it'll express itself through intuition and emotion, but that energy does not move in the same way. Each water sign has a different style of movement, which changes how that emotional energy expresses. In astrology, these movement styles are called cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And you can think of them as 3 different game movement mechanics: initiation, intensification, and adaptation. That's why each water sign feels emotionally powerful, but in very different ways. So first, let's talk about Sun in Cancer. This is your cardinal water sign. When the sun is in this cardinal sign of Cancer, you can imagine the character moving through a fast-moving current. The water here responds immediately to changing conditions. This sun initiates through care. It reacts quickly, it senses vulnerability, and it moves to protect what matters. The loadout here favors shields, wards, and restorative tools rather than weapons built for attack. In a game, this is the protector healer player. It's the character who builds a safe base, tracks the party's health bar, and restores balance when things start to fall apart. Next, let's talk about the sun in Scorpio. This is our fixed water sign. Fixed signs sustain and intensify energy. When the sun is in Scorpio, imagine the character operating in deep, pressurized waters, places where nothing moves quickly, but everything feels powerful. This loadout favors stealth, emotional endurance, loyalty, and transformation. The energy here is concentrated. In a game, this is your deep operative or royal assassin. It's the character who guards what they're sworn to protect, moves unseen, and is willing to enter the darkest cave to eliminate a threat at its source. Finally, let's talk about the sun in Pisces. This is our mutable water sign. Mutable signs adapt, dissolve, and flow. When the sun is in Pisces, you can imagine the character moving through endless water, oceans without edges, mists that blur boundaries, currents that slip between worlds. This sun is cloaked in magic. It navigates through intuition, imagination, empathy, and symbolism, sensing what can't be seen directly. The loadout here favors spells, illusions, healing arts, and dimensional travel rather than physical armor or weapons. In a game, this is the Mage, the character who senses invisible pathways, bends reality through perception, and moves between the realms. Sometimes they may be unsure where the edge of the world even is. If you have planets in water signs, those are the parts of you that experience life from the inside out. They feel deeply, read emotional undercurrents, and respond to what's happening beneath the surface, often before anything is said out loud. These placements are intuitive and perceptive, but also porous, and they absorb the environment in which they live. That's why water energy needs grounding. Without that, it can become overwhelmed, flooded, or lost in other people's currents. Water signs show us that not all power is visible. Some of the most important information comes from what you perceive, not from what you see. So drop your water placements in the comments, sun, moon, rising, or any other planet, and tell me how that energy shows up for you. That wraps up our tour of the zodiac: fire, earth, air, and water signs. Next, we're going to move beyond individual pieces into how everything works together, aspects, or the relationships between the game characters. And if this series is helping you to see astrology a little bit differently, please hit like and subscribe. Join my constellation. I post a new video every Thursday. Thank you for watching.